Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live lesson. This is the first live lesson of 2025, so you're all very welcome. While we were waiting, I was just throwing up some arcade trivia questions there. Some of you got them right, some of you didn't. That's all right, just a little bit of fun as we're kind of waiting to get started. Okay, so we'll just give a bit of time for people just to kind of join the live lesson and kind of get set up. While we do, I'll just kind of run through how this live lesson works and how all these live lessons will work each week when we do them. So let me share my screen, might make it a little bit easier. Okay, brilliant. So you are currently viewing me through this YouTube box up the top left-hand corner of the lesson page. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing my screen. I'm going to show you the steps on how to create this lesson, this project, and I'll go through what we'll be making in a minute. So the idea is you're going to have two tabs open, so two browser tabs open. You're going to have one tab open with the instructions of the lesson, and I'll show the instructions in just 1 second. And then we're going to be opening up a second tab, and in that second tab, that's where we're going to create our code and create our arcade game. So we're going to be switching back and forth between the tabs. On the lesson tab, this tab here, you're going to see me here in this box. If you want to see a really good picture of my screen when I'm demonstrating a step, just click on the full screen button, and that will make it nice and big on your screen. And then when you want to minimize it and make it small again, just click the minimize button, and that'll go back into the top left-hand corner. You'll see the lesson feed here. Everyone's saying hello to each other. So let's just call out actually who we have. So we've Business. I hope I'm pronouncing these names right. We've Pink Codes. We have Mewy. Who else do we have? I saw some more people. Teacher is myself. My name's Alan. We have Moonboy. We have Coder Rocket. We have D-Ball. Am I missing anyone? I hope not. We have Test JJ is there as well. So we have a good few people already joining in. So, okay, let me show the instructions. So at the moment, you're just seeing this box here saying not too long. That will disappear now in a second, and you should be able to see the instructions for the lesson. Okay, so how it's going to work is we're going to work our way down through these steps. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 steps. So there's 10 steps to this lesson. Then there's a quiz that we can do as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through each step of the lesson. I do see something in the chat there. Business says, what is going on? It is 7:02. So hopefully you can see me, Business. I see you've completed step number 2. So, okay, you're working away. So if you want to work ahead and work through any of the steps of the lesson and kind of go ahead of me, it's no problem at all. Go ahead and do that. If you want to come along with me, come along with me, and I'll take you through each step of the lesson, step by step, as we make this project. Okay, so what project are we making? Today, we're going to make an arcade game. So we see in the introduction step here, it gives you a little picture of what we're going to be making. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. So we're going to make this arcade game. It's called Cherry Collector. So as you can see on the screen, you've got a little player character. Princess is the player in this game, and she needs to go around and collect the cherries. And as you can see, each time she collects a cherry, her score goes up by 1 up the top right-hand side, okay? So that's what we're going to be making. So to do that, we're going to use a website called MakeCode.com. So if you look inside step number 2, so step number 2 is called Create a New Project. In there is a link, and it says https arcade.makecode.com. What I'd like everyone to do is to click on that link, and when you do, it's going to open up a new tab. So I'll actually just demonstrate it first if you want to watch me, because we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to open up this new web page, and we're going to create a new project, and then we're going to come back to the lesson page. So if you just watch me do it first, if you want to go into full screen on the video, I'm going to click on the link to open up the Arcade website. It'll just take a second. I'm going to click on this big orange new project button. It's going to ask me what I want to call my project. So we're going to create a project. What do I want to call it? I'm just going to call it Cherry Game for the moment. You can call it whatever you want. Once you've typed in the name of your project, click on the green Create button. And what that will do is it will load up the project editor. I'll give you a little bit of a tour around this in a minute, but for now, I'm going to go back to my Lessons tab, and I'm going to click on the green Done button in step number 2. I'm going to get +5 XP, and we'll see the stars explode there. So I'm going to give everyone a little bit of time to do that. If you want to just go off now, in step number 2, I want you to click on the link in there. That's going to open up a new tab for the Arcade MakeCode website. And then once that opens up, I want you to click on the big orange new project button. It will ask you what you want to call your project. Type in the name, whatever you want to call it. Put in your own name, or put in game or arcade game or cherry collector, whatever you want to call your project. And then click on the green Create button. That will then load up into the project editor for creating arcade games. I'm just going to wait for a good few people to finish step number 2. I can see a good few have already done it. I'll just give maybe another 20 or 30 seconds for people to finish it. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour around the MakeCode Arcade project editor, just in case you've never used it before and you're brand new to it. I'll take you through how we use it. It's super easy to use, and it's super powerful. We can make so many different games and different projects in it, and there's lots and lots of things to see in doing it. Okay, I think we have most people have completed step number 2. So what I'm going to do now is I'll just give you a little bit of a tour around this screen. So if you want to go into full screen on the video, you'll get a nice clear picture of my screen, and I'm showing the MakeCode project editor. Okay, let's take a tour. So on the left-hand side, we have a virtual handheld device, a gaming device. So when we actually create our game, it's going to appear here in this screen, and we can use the joystick here and the A and B button. You can also use the arrow keys, the left, down, up and right on your keyboard, and W, A, S and D, if you're kind of more used to that on your keyboard for moving up, down, left and right. And you can use the space bar or click on A to press A, and I think enter, or click on B for B. So we can program all these. So we can make a game and we can play it there. Just to the right-hand side of that, we have our toolbox. And inside our toolbox, we have got lots and lots of different categories. And inside each one of these, we've got lots of different code blocks. So let's actually just quickly say and talk about what is coding. So if you're brand new to coding, the best way I describe coding, say I'm describing coding to my granny or my granddad or my auntie or my uncle, say somebody who doesn't have a clue what coding is. The best way I describe it is coding is giving instructions to a computer. That's all coding is. So behind websites, games, apps, complicated things like airplane navigation systems, simple things like traffic lights, all of these just have code that runs behind them, and it's just instructions that tell a computer what to do. Well, in the MakeCode Arcade, we've got lots of different code blocks. These are just instructions, different instructions, and we use these code blocks, these instructions, to create our game. And all we're going to be doing is we're going to be dragging and dropping the code blocks from the toolbox into this area here. This is called our code editor. We're going to just remove those. I was just showing those as an example. We will be going through step by step exactly what code we need to add. Okay, so there's a quick tour around the MakeCode Arcade editor. Let me just quickly check if anyone was looking for help. Okay, some people are just giving advice on how to get it started. Click live in the video. Thanks very much for that, Coder Rocket. Business says Happy New Year. Happy New Year to yourself. Okay. If you do have any questions anyway through the live lesson, just click on chat and type in your question. If you are having a problem, you can always hit the red thumbs down react button, which I'm going to do here. And that will show me that you need a little bit of help, and I'll come and ask you what you need help with. Okay, so I can see people are moving on. So let's move on ourselves. Okay, so in step number 3, we're going to add in our first piece of code. And in this, we're going to actually create our player sprite. So you can see we're going to create the princess, so you can choose whatever character you want. We have a little animation here of what code block to add, and we have them listed out here, but I'm going to actually show you. So if you want to view my screen demonstrating how to add in the code block to create your player character, go into full screen now. So I'm going to switch to my project editor tab. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the first toolbox that says sprites. It's in blue and it's got a paper airplane icon on it. So I'm going to click on that and it opens up and shows me all the code blocks in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the very first code block that's in here. It says set my sprite to sprite of kind player. And what that code block does is it just sets up in your game your player character, or like they're called in arcade games, sprites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my mouse pointer over it like this. You'll see it there. I'm going to hold down my left button on my mouse, or if you're using a laptop, your trackpad. And still holding it down, holding the button down, I'm going to drag it in and I'm going to put it inside the on start, the green on start block like that. And we'll go in. Let me just zoom in a little bit so you can get a nice clear picture. And then this next thing I need to do is I need to put in the picture of my player. What is my player going to look like? To do that, you click on the gray box inside the code block. When you do that, it opens up the sprite editor. There's actually tools here, paint tools and colors, where you can actually draw your own sprite if you wish. I'm actually going to just go into the gallery by clicking on gallery, and it shows me lots of pre-made sprites and characters I can use. I'm going to scroll down till I find the princess one. I'm going to click on it. So left click on the princess one. You can choose whatever sprite you want from the gallery, but once you're done, you'll see there's a green done button down the very bottom right. You need to click on that. And when you do, it closes down the sprite editor. And you'll notice that whatever sprite character you chose from the gallery appears in your code block. And then on the left-hand side, where your virtual gaming handheld device is, you'll see that the character is in the game ready to go. Okay, so that's step number 3. I'm going to go back to my lessons, my lesson tab, and I'm going to click on done for step number 3. And I'm going to just review who has done it. So if you haven't done step number 3, go ahead and do that now. Again, you're going to switch to the project tab. So the tab that you have with your MakeCode project editor, you're going to open up the very first toolbox, the sprites toolbox, the blue one with the blue airplane, paper airplane icon. And you're going to drag and drop in the very first block there that says set my sprite to sprite of kind player. You're going to put that inside the green on start block, and then you're going to click on the gray box in that code block. It'll open up the sprite editor. You're going to choose gallery, and then you choose whatever sprite you want, whatever character you want. Click on the character and then click on the green done button. And then once you've done that, come back to the lessons tab. This tab here I'm showing on my screen, and click done beside the step. So just so I know that you've done that step and you're ready to go on to the next one. But I'll give a little bit more time for everyone to do that. We will be sharing our projects as we work our way down through this. So we will be sharing our projects at the end. So I'm going to pull them up on the screen. So anyone who shares their project, I'm going to open them up so we can all take a look to see what you've created. Okay, so let me see. think we have most people have done it. How many people do we have? I think we have most coders have done step number 3. Again, if you do need any help or if I'm going too fast, just put that into the chat or put in a red thumbs down. I always keep an eye on the chat feed to see how everyone's doing. So if you do have any problems or issues or questions, pop them into there. Or if you're having fun, you can even go in and you can do different reactions. You can put them in as well. It's always a little bit of fun. Okay, so I think we have everyone done step number 3. So now I'm going to move on to step number 4. In step number 4, we're going to move our player. So we created our player in our game, but now what we're going to do is put in some codes that will let us use the joystick on our gaming device to move our player around the screen. So you can see we're going to add in this second block here. It says, it's an orange block. It says move my sprite with buttons. Okay, so if you want to view me do this step in a nice big screen, click on the full screen on the video now, because I'm going to demonstrate this step. So I'm going to switch across to my project tab. I'm going to open up now the second toolbox. It's the controller toolbox. It's in orange and it's got a little gamepad icon on it. So I'm going to click on that. It'll open it up. And I'm going to get the very first block in there. It says move my sprite with buttons. So I'm going to drag that in and I'm going to put it inside the onStart. You'll see the onStart expands down, but it needs to go underneath my red and blue block that says set my sprite princess of kind player. So it needs to go underneath that block. Once you put that in, so now if I go across to my game, you can see I can use the joystick or I can even use the arrow keys on my keyboard and I can actually control my player now. So just 2 blocks and we already have our player sprite in there moving around. Okay, I'm going to go back and mark that step as done. I'm going to give everyone a bit of time to do step number 4. And I'm just going to have a little look down through the chat to see how everyone's doing. Seems everyone is getting on okay. Business asks the question, can you change the sprite? Yes, you can choose whatever sprite character you want. If you actually wanted to go back in and change it, so say, oh, do you know what? I want a different character in there. You go back to your code. So I'm going to show you this now. You go back to your code, go into the gallery and choose, say I wanted the duck. I could choose it, change it to the duck. We'll update there. So, but I'm going to go back to and do it as the princess because I like that character as the player character. But yeah, you can choose whatever one you want and you can go back in and change it. Okay. Okay, so while we're waiting, let me just put in another trivia question. Oh, here's a good one. So let me just put this into the chat. So here's another trivia question if you want to answer that. The question is, what fruit gives extra points in the Pac-Man game, in the game Pac-Man? Business asked the question, the Christmas challenge, who won? Yeah, so we had a number of winners for the Christmas challenge and they were posted on our social media. There was different categories for different age groups. We got some amazing entries into our Christmas coding challenge. And we gave out different prizes for the different age groups, but they're on our social media. I don't know them, I don't remember them off the top of my head. But if you don't have social media, maybe your parents might show you. It's on the Coding Ireland any of our social media pages, Facebook or X or Instagram. It's all on there. Do we have any answers? So Coder Rocket says apples. No, that's not right. And then Coder Rocket changed their answers to cherries. Yeah, cherries is the right answer. So cherries is the right answer for, they are that you get extra points in the game Pac-Man. Pac-Man is like one of the classic games. It's still going strong now, many years later from when it was first coded. I see we've got a new coder has joined. Moonboy has joined in, so you're very welcome, Moonboy, to the live lesson. We are currently on, we've completed up to step number 4, and we're about to move on to step number 5. But that's okay. You just take your time. In all the, you'll see all the instructions for what you need to do in the steps there. So just take your time and work your way through them, and you'll probably catch up with us. If you have any questions, just put them into the chat there. Okay, so now I'm going to move on and do step number 5. So in step number 5, we're going to actually create the cherries that we need to go and collect. So what we actually need to do is a couple of things, and this is spread across a few of the steps in the lesson. First of all, we need to do something every few seconds or every 2 seconds. So we're going to add in a code block, and it will run. So whatever we put inside that code block will run every 2 seconds. So it'll go 1, 2, run, 3, 4, run, 5, 6, run. So every 2 seconds, whatever we put inside there will run. And what are we going to put inside there? Well, we're going to put inside a code block to create the cherries. So every 2 seconds, we're going to create a new cherry sprite in our game. And then what we're going to do in step number 6 is we're going to put them in a random place on the screen. Okay, but let's do step number 5 first. Beesnia says, you read my mind. Okay, so if you want to view my screen, if you want to view this step number 5 on how to do it, go into full screen now. I'm going to switch across to my project tab, and I'm going to first go into the game toolbox. So this is the purple toolbox with game in it, and it's just got a disk. And in there, I'm going to get the second block down. It says on game update every 500 ms. I'm going to drag that in, and I'm going to put it in on its own. It doesn't connect to anything else. It just goes in the code area on its own. What this code block does is whatever you put inside it will run every what you set this number to. So 500 ms. Actually, let's ask this as a question. So what does ms mean in terms of time? So let me put that into the chat and I'll see if anyone can answer that. So what does ms mean in terms of time? So you can see in the code block there, it says on game update every 500 ms. What's ms? See if anyone can get that right. Excuse me. Waiting for an answer. See if anyone can get that right. What does ms mean in terms of time? D-Ball got it. Milliseconds, correct. So ms means milliseconds. So milli means 1,000 and seconds means seconds. So 500 milliseconds is basically half a second, because there's 1,000 milliseconds in a second. So 500 is half a second. So we actually want to change this. So I'm going to click on the little down arrow, and I'm going to change this to 2 seconds. So you'll see that on my screen now. I'm changing this to 2 seconds. When I click 2 seconds, it changes it to 2000 ms, which is 2000 milliseconds, which equals 2 seconds. So this code block will run every 2 seconds. Okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to run? I want to create a new sprite. And this time, well, let's open up the sprites toolbox. Again, we're going to get the very first block that says set my sprite to sprite of kind player. You'll notice actually at this time it says set my sprite to. So that's okay. We're going to drag that in and put it inside the game update. Drag it across. I'll actually explain why the first one says my sprite and then the second one says my sprite 2. These are called variables, which basically just means it's something that just you put something into and the game remembers it. So our first player character is called my sprite. And then these cherries that we're going to create, we're going to call these my sprite 2. You can rename them to something a bit more a bit more meaningful if you wish, but for the moment, we'll leave them at my sprite and my sprite 2. Now, here's a really important thing. When you do drag in the set my sprite 2 to sprite of kind player, we're actually not creating a player sprite, we're creating a food sprite. So I want you to click on this little white arrow, down arrow beside player, and I want you to change that to be food. So it says set my sprite 2 to sprite of kind food. Okay, that's very important. And then just click on the gray box and go in and choose whatever food you want. I'm going to choose the cherries from the gallery because it's cherry collector, but you can go in and choose whatever you want. So once I put in that, finish that code, you'll see my game updates and you'll start to see whatever your food you've created appear in the middle. Now it is creating multiple of them every 2 seconds, but they're right on top of each other. So you can only just see one for the moment. Okay, I'm going to go back and mark step number 5 done. I'm going to get 20 XP for that. And I am going to go down and see if anyone needs any help. No, it seems everyone is working away fine. Well done, everyone. Coder Rocket is giving a green thumbs up. Okay, so I think we have most people have completed step number 5, but I might just give a little bit more time just in case anyone hasn't. Again, if I'm going too fast or if you need any help, just type it into the chat or put in a red thumbs down, and that always lets me know how we're getting on. Okay. I think most people have done it already. I think it's only, was it Moon Boy? Moon Boy, I see you've completed step number 2. If you need any help at all, just type it into the chat. Also, here's a tip. In the live box here, you can actually go back. Let me mute that. You can actually scroll back and forth. So if you actually want to see a step or replay it, you can actually go back and replay it by dragging and dropping it like that. So I'm actually going to remove the video feed from mine for the moment. Okay, let's get on to step number 6. So in step number 6, what we're going to be doing is we want our cherries to get created in random places on the screen. So we have to go in and collect them. So we're creating them every 2 seconds, but now we need to say where they get created, and we want them to create in random places, because that's actually a key thing in creating games that are enjoyable to play. It's putting randomness into them. If a game is predictable, if you know where the enemy is going to come from or what exactly is going to happen, it's not that challenging and you'll probably lose interest quite fast. But when things happen in a random way, it's unpredictable and it's more challenging, and therefore it's more fun. So in this step, what we're going to do is we're going to create our cherries in random places. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to use this set position block, and we're going to set the X number and the Y number of the my sprite 2, and that's the cherry food sprites. So let me go and show you how to do this, and I'll explain what the blocks do as I add them. Bees News said they had a great Christmas. Brilliant. I had a brilliant Christmas as well. So glad you had one too. Okay. So I'm going to demonstrate this step. So again, if you want to view this in a nice big picture, click on the full screen in the video so you can see this. So I'm going to add some code into the on-game update every 2000 ms block. I'm going to open up this sprites toolbox, and I'm going to scroll down to the physics heading, PHYSICS, physics heading. Oh, I'm just seeing in the chat there that Moonboy is stuck. So sorry, before I go on, I do want to help out Moonboy. So Moonboy, if you just let me know what step you are on, if you type that into the chat, step number 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever step you're on, if you put that into the chat, I'll come and help you, and I'll kind of show you again. Okay, back to creating the cherries in a random position. So I'm going to open up the sprites toolbox. I'm going to scroll down to the physics heading, and in there's a block that says set my sprite position to x0, y0. I'm going to take that block and I'm going to put it inside the on-game update block, and it needs to go underneath the block that says set my sprite to sprite cherry of kind food. And here's a really important thing. I need to change this to be my sprite 2, because this is where I'm going to set the position of them. So I'm going to click on the little down arrow and choose my sprite 2. And then I'm going to set the X position and the Y position. So let me explain what these are. So the X number is for the X axis. That's for left and right. So that number determines where left and right on the screen the position will be set to. And the Y number is for up and down. So using those two numbers, a left and right number, X number, and a up and down number, the Y number, we can choose any different point on the screen. And what we're going to do is actually put in some random numbers in there. So to do that, we're going to go into the math toolbox, which is the purple math toolbox with a calculator icon. I'm going to scroll down a little bit till I see the block that says pick random 0 to 10. So this block chooses a random number between the two numbers you give it. So in this example, it's 0 and 10. So it would choose a random number between 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What we're going to do is we're going to drag two of these blocks in. So I'm going to drag one in, and I'm going to put it inside instead of the X number. You'll see when I put it over the X number, it kind of gets a yellow halo and the two red dots show. So I'm going to drop it in there. And then I'm going to go into the math toolbox again. I'm going to get another pick random 0 to 10, and I'm going to drop it in instead of the Y number. Okay, so we're choosing a random number for the X, the left and right, and the Y up and down. Now, the random numbers, the range that we need to choose for X is between 0 and 160, 160, and for Y it's between 0 and 120. So I'm going to go back and change these. So for the X number, I'm going to put in pick random 0 to, I'm going to click inside for the 10, delete it, and type in 160. And for the Y number, we're going to pick a random number between 0 and, again, click inside for the 10, delete it, and type in 120 for 120. So now you'll see when my code runs, you'll see my cherries are creating every 2 seconds, but in different random places. Okay, so I'm going to go back and mark that step as done. So all you coders can go ahead and do that. Now, Moonboy, you said you were stuck and you're on number 3. So let's go back up and see if we can help you out. Okay, so hopefully you've done step number 2, which was to create your new project. So in step number 3, we're going to add in our first piece of code, and that's where we're going to add in this block here, set my sprite to sprite of kind player, and then we're going to choose the princess character from the gallery. So let me demonstrate this for you. I'm going to actually open up a new tab. So bear with me. I'm going to create a new project. I'll just call it test for the moment. So this is for you, Moonboy. So what you need to do is click on sprites, and we're going to drag and drop the very first block that's in here, set my sprite to sprite of kind player. So I'm going to use my mouse pointer. I'll do this again. I'm going to put it over the block. I'm going to hold down my left button, and that means still holding it down, I can move this anywhere I want, and I'm going to put it inside the green on start, and then I'm going to release the button, and it will go in. Then once you've put that code block in, we need to choose your character. So click on the gray box, and this is the sprite editor. You can paint and draw your own sprite if you want, but it's probably easier for now just to click on gallery and then choose your character. So in the game, we're choosing a princess character. So choose the princess character, and then finally click on the green done button down the very bottom right. You'll see your princess character in the code block, and then in your game, you'll see your princess character. So hopefully that helps you. Get through step number 3. Take your time. All the instructions are there. It even shows you little animations of exactly what to do. So just take your time and work your way through it. Okay, so let's get back going. Oh, Business put in a trivia question. Brilliant. Let's see if I get this right. So I have a trivia question. What game was originally called Cave Game? Cave Game? I don't know. Do we have Code Rocket guesses Sonic? Business says anyone else? I presume Sonic is not right. Minecraft. Oh, Minecraft was called Cave Game. Oh, I never knew that. Oh, yeah. Code Rocket guessed Fortnite, and then also says, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense, doesn't it? Cave Game. Yeah, I think Minecraft is, they went with the better name there. Cave Game doesn't sound too exciting, but they went well calling it Minecraft. Thanks for that question, Business. Anyone else, feel free to put in trivia questions, and we'll see if we can answer them. Okay, so we have done step number 6 now. Actually, have we done step number 6? Let's see who has done it. So I think, again, we've most of the coders have done it. So we will move on to step number 7. So in step number 7, we're going to collect the cherries. So let me just show you this. So at the moment, if I go to my game, I can move my character around, and if I go over the cherries, nothing actually happens. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to add in some code, some instructions that detects when our player sprite goes over a food sprite. And when we detect that happening, we need to make something happen. So we're gonna destroy the food sprite, so that disappears, and we're going to give ourselves a point, and we're going to play a sound as well. But first of all, we're just going to do the detection of when the player overlaps with the food, and we're going to destroy the food sprite. Okay, so if you want to view me demonstrating this, please go into full screen now, and I will show you. So I'm on my project tab, and I'm going to add in some new code. So I'm going to open up the sprites toolbox, and I'm going to scroll down till I see, so a good bit down, until I see the overlaps heading. So OVE or LAPS, the overlaps heading. And in that section of the sprites toolbox, there's a big long block, blue block. It says on sprite of kind player, overlaps other sprite of kind player. And it's kind of run off my screen a little bit, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this block in. I'm going to actually hide my game for the moment by just clicking on that little arrow so we can see my code area nice and big. Okay, so it says on sprite of kind player overlaps with other sprite of kind player. So this code block is used to detect when two different sprites overlap each other. So it uses what kinds they are, what type they are to detect. So if you remember, our player princess was a player sprite, and the cherries was a food sprite. So we want to detect when a player overlaps with food. So we're going to leave the first player in this toolbar, or sorry, this code block, but we're going to change the second player to be food. So I want you to click on the little white arrow like I'm doing now and change it to be food. So now that's going to detect when a player overlaps with food. So when it does, we want to destroy the food sprite. So to do that, we're going to go into the sprites toolbox and we will go down to the effects heading, EFFECTS, effects heading. And in there, you'll get a block that says destroy my sprite. I'm going to drag that in and put it inside my overlaps block. Now, here's a really important thing. So do watch this, me demonstrate this. This is really, really important. When we put in the destroy block, we need to actually remove the red my sprite part of it out of that block and just delete it by throwing it back into the toolbox. So we just have a gap in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drag down the red other sprite from where it says overlaps other sprite of kind food. We're going to get the red other sprite. If we drag that, it creates that block, and we're going to put that inside the destroy block. So what's happening there? So when this overlap block runs and it detects a player overlapping with food, it gets the two sprites. It gets the player sprite in this block here that says sprite, and it gets the food block that we went over in this block here. Remember, there could be 10 different food sprites on the screen. So we need to get the exact one, and that's stored in this block here that says other sprite. So that's why we put that one inside the destroy. Okay, let me play my game and see if it works. So now you'll see when I go and collect the cherries and overlap them, they get destroyed. Okay, so I'm going to mark that step as done. If you want to go ahead and do that step number 7 now, I'll just go through and see how everyone is doing. So Business has done it. I see Moonboy is already onto step number 5. Well done, Moonboy. You joined late, but you got going, so well done. Again, any questions, let me know. What's Business saying? Business says, but it was only there for a day. Are you talking about the caveman or the cave game? Okay, let me ask a trivia question. I have a few of them here. Actually, instead of asking a trivia question, I want to know what games or gaming consoles do you like? So I presume most people here are gamers. If you're not, that's perfectly fine as well. So what do you have? PlayStation? Do you have a Switch? Do you play games on PC, an Xbox? And so let me know what you play games on, and also let me know what's your favorite game. My favorite game is a very old game. It's a game that's kind of like Fortnite. It's called Quake. And back in the day, that was the game to play. I've got 3 kids who all love games. My youngest has a Switch, and his favorite game is Sonic. Now, there's lots of different versions of it. I can't remember what's the latest one. He's got lots and lots of them, but Sonic and the Switch is quite popular in my house, so let me know. Coda Rocket says, I play Switch. Very good. So anyone else likes Mario Kart? Oh, I love Mario Kart. Mario Kart on the SNES, Super Nintendo, was a classic game back in the day. Still is a very good game. So let me know and let everyone know in the class, if you want to share, what are your favorite games, or what gaming console do you use? And if you don't, that's fine as well. Business PS4. I always used to, I've had a few different gaming consoles, but my favorite games I always kind of played on a PC, and that was Quake. It was kind of like a forerunner to Fortnite in that it was, you know, a similar type game. I mean, it wasn't as big as Fortnite. The graphics certainly weren't as good, but it was really cool. Basically, it was a kind of first person shooter game. You went around, you collect different guns, ammo, you've got different maps, and it's a networked game, so you're playing against different players at the same time, which was lots of fun. Okay, so I think most people have completed step number 7, so we'll move on to step number 8. Coder Rocket is asking what game on PS4, I guess to business. What's your favorite game? So if you want to let Coder Rocket know, you can type it in. If you don't, if you want to remain mysterious, you can remain mysterious. That is your right. Okay, so in step number 8, we are going to give ourselves a point. So when we collect a sprite, so when we detect the player overlapping the food, let me zoom in on this. We're going to add in this new block that says change score by 1. Really handy block, very easy. You just put it in and it will add in a scoring system to your game. Oh, Business says Minecraft or Brawlhalla. Never heard of Brawlhalla. Must look it up after this. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate doing step number 8. So if you want to view how to do this, go into full screen on the video now. So it's very easy. All we do is we are going to go into the info toolbox. It's kind of like a peachy color, and it's got a kind of ID card with a little person in it in the icon. So we're going to open up the info toolbox, and in there we're going to get the block change score by 1. We're going to drag that in, and it's going to go inside the overlaps block as well. So when you overlap, your player overlaps with food, you're going to destroy the food sprite, and you're going to give yourself a point. So let me play my game and see if that works. So you'll see now up the top right of my game, I'm on 3, 4. So each time I collect the cherries, my points go up. Okay, so very quick, easy step to do. I will wait for everyone to get that done. Step number 8, to give yourself a point when you collect a cherry. So I can see people are doing it. Yeah, it's quite an easy step. That's the great thing about MakeCode Arcade and creating projects in it. It's completely set up for creating games. So it has lots of handy blocks that you just add them in, and it gives you like a scoring system in the game just by adding in one block, which is really good. So Pink Codes, Coder Rocket, D-Ball, TestJJ, myself. Business hasn't done it yet. Moonboy is on step number 6. Well done, Moonboy, catching up. So we're nearly there. I will move on because we're going to do the last step, and then I'm going to give everyone a challenge, and then we can share our projects, and I'll pull them up on the screen. So the last step is we're just going to add in a sound into our game. So step number 9, you're going to play a sound. So we're just going to add in this new play sound power up until done block. Now you can choose whatever sound you want. There's a whole library of them. That's the one I think kind of works best. So I'll show you how to do this. So back in your project tab, you're going to open up the music toolbox. It's the one with the headphones in pink. And you're going to go down to the sounds heading and get the block that says play sound padding until done. If you drag that in and put it underneath the change score by 1, and you can click on the little white arrow beside sound bidding, and you can choose whatever one you want. There's lots of different sounds in there. You can try them out, see what you think works. I think the sound power up kind of sounds best. Business says, sorry, my iPad crashed. No problem. You're back in quickly enough. So hopefully you can open up your project and start working away from where you were. So all that step does is when you go over, I don't know if my mic is picking up that, it just plays the sound that you added in. Okay. So I'll give people, everyone, all the coders, a bit of time to get that step number 9 done. And then we'll look at the challenge. Okay, it's not actually appearing on my screen. Let me pause that. I'm trying to think of what it was. So I'll wait for everyone to kind of finish step number 9. I think I'll just give a little bit more time. I don't quite have everyone says. Oh, MakeCode Arcade is after putting it in. Yeah, I think it's not appearing on mine, but I did put in a challenge. It looks like it's appearing on all your screens, which is great. It says, now that you've created a fun cherry collection game, let's add a new twist. Your challenge is to add a special golden cherry that appears every 10 seconds. When collected, it should give you 5 points instead of 1. Can you modify your game to include this special cherry? Now, it doesn't have to be a cherry. You can put in a pizza or whatever you want. So that is your challenge, is to put in, create another sprite that's in there. Don't create it as food, create it as something else, and then try and detect when your player overlaps with that and give yourself a bonus of 5 points. If you don't want to do that one, there's another one you can do, and I'll show you how to do this as well. You might want to put in a countdown. So at the moment, the game it never ends. You just keep on playing it. You know, you get your cherries, and your score keeps on going up. But what we could actually do is put in a countdown, say a 20-second countdown. So you have to rush. You have to see how many cherries you can collect within the 20 seconds. So I'll show you how to do that, but I'll give everyone a few minutes. If you want to do either of those challenges, or if you just want to do your own thing and you want to change it around or put in your own idea, take a few minutes, change your project, put in your idea, and then if I scroll down, you should see a button there that says submit your project. So you put in the name of your project, you can describe it if you want, and you to share your project. Actually, I might show everyone this. So if you want to see how to share your project, please go into the full screen video now. So to share your project on your project editor, you click this kind of share button up the top in the orange toolbar. You click on share project, and you click on the copy button to get this URL, this address of your project. And then you can put it in and you paste it. So you can right click and say paste, or press Control V in the project link URL, and then click on share my project. And what that will do is it will share your project, and it should go into the feed. Mine seems to be taking its time. So that should go into the feed. If that doesn't work, you can always just put it into the chat. So I'm going to put mine like that. And that means I can then open them up and I can show them to everyone. So we can all get to see what everyone has done. So we have just over 5 minutes left of the lesson. So I'll give everyone about another 2 or 3 minutes to put in anything you want. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate or really complicated. Just for the moment, make a little bit of a change to the project and then share it into the chat. So you can either use the submit your project button, or you can just paste it into the chat, just the link to your project. Again, if you want to share your project, you just click on the kind of share icon in the top orange toolbar of your project editor, and then click share project and copy the link. So it's that link we need just to into the chat feed, and then I can open it up. There is also a quiz there. If you want to do the quiz, you can work away. So I'll keep an eye on the feed to see. Oh, brilliant. Just as I was saying it, we have one here. So this entry is from Coder Rocket. Let me open up. So Coder Rocket's project is called Cherry Bomb. Oh, very good. Oh, let's play this. Okay. So you have the cherries. Oh, you have the golden cherries. Look at that. How many points do I get? 10 points for a golden cherry. I like it. Oh, and you have a different, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a different noise playing as well for the golden ones. That's really good. Well done. Oh, who was that? Well done, Coder Rocket. That's excellent. Anyone else wants to share theirs once they're ready? Go ahead. Or if you do want to take the quiz at the end. Thank you. You're welcome, Coder Rocket. So we have 3 or 4 minutes left. So again, it doesn't have to be something super complicated for now, though of course you can go on and keep on building on this game after this live lesson is done. But just for now, put in some little change into the project and then do submit it or paste in the link, and I'll pull it up on the screen and we can all have a look and see what you've done. Oh, business has theirs in. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so business is called Cherry. Oh, look at this cake. Oh, nice. Look at this. You've put in. Oh, I see something slightly wrong with your code. Let me just quickly show you what that is, business. So when you are destroying, oh, okay, you said you're doing destroy all sprites of kind food. You can do that if you want. So basically what will happen when I go over to Cherry, it gets rid of them all. If you just want to do one, just let me show you how to do this. Just use the destroy sprite and put in other sprite in there. Let's see how that works now. When I get one, it just deletes that one as opposed to all of them on the screen. But well done, business. So some people have finished the quiz as well. Test JJ got 4 out of 5. Coder Rocket got 4 out of 5. Well done. Very well done. If anyone else has any projects they want to share, Pink Codes got 5 out of 5. Nice. 100%. Well done, Pink Codes. That's brilliant. If anyone else has anything they want to share, their project, just go ahead and paste it into the chat. So we will be doing another live lesson next Wednesday. So lessons are every Wednesday at 7. So I can't remember. Oh, let's have a look. Let's have a preview of what we're doing next. We're doing Frog Frenzy next. Frog Frenzy is a fun game. There's going to be Scratch that we're going to be doing. And then the next Wednesday after that, we're going to be doing a microbit lesson and a reaction timer. That's actually a really cool project. So there's going to be live lessons on same time every Wednesday. So do come along and join in the fun. And if you don't make it, you can always go back in and open up any of the previous live lessons, and you will get to you'll be able to replay the video, the broadcast, and you'll see all the instructions in there as well. So you can, even if you miss one of them, you can always go back in afterwards and do it. So I've got a couple more messages. BSN says my game was lagging because of too much sprites. Yeah. So basically what happens there is when you're, creating a game in code and it has loads and loads of different sprites, it needs to remember each one of those. So there is actually code you can add in to kind of destroy them so that the game doesn't need to remember them. So it doesn't clog up the memory and make it laggy. But a good point. So D-Ball also got 100%, 5 out of 5. Mui got 2 out of 5. Okay, well done. Well done. It's good. Good for your first attempt. Coder Rocket says, thank you. See you next week. Yeah, well done, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. As I said, next Wednesday, same time, we will be having another live lesson. I hope you enjoyed this, and do go ahead and see what else you can do with that project. I'm sure you've got lots of different ideas. Oh, sorry. I did actually say I would show you how to add in the countdown, and I nearly forgot how to do this. Let me just quickly show you how to do this. We're going to add in a new block to the onStart block. I think it's is it info? What is the countdown? Yeah, in info, if you scroll down to the countdown heading, there is a block that says start countdown 10s for 10 seconds. If you put that inside the onStart, let me play this. You'll see now that I actually have a countdown in the game, which makes it more challenging. I'm going to get as many as possible. Oh, what did I get? 5. So there you go. That's actually just one block, and it kind of adds a bit more challenge to the game, putting in the countdown. You can change that to 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever you want. So I did say I would show you how to do that. So well done, everyone. And we will see you next Wednesday. Until then, have some fun. Okay, bye.